Man, I was reading this thing online the other day, and it was talking about how, you know how they like tag animals in the wild, excuse me, to like track them and record data as far as like, you know, their movements, their activities, whatever, you know, that's what scientists do. And so they do that with sharks, right? Okay, so apparently this great white shark who had been tagged, either, and it's unknown whether it was the like a part of it got bitten off that had the tag on it, or whether it was the entire shark. But the tag that it had on it, and this tag on this, I guess, particular shark, it could sense like the temperature of the water it was in. It had like GPS, the location. It could tell like the depth, like how deep down the shark had swam, you know. Um, all that sort of data is being documented in this chip, the tag or whatever. So again, I don't know if it was like on the fin of the shark and the shark got attacked and like the fin got bit off, or whether it was the whole shark. But the tag, all of a sudden, you know, all of a sudden it went into like a temperature that was like a body temperature, right? Way, way, way warmer than the water. And it sunk way down to like a super far depth. And mind you, it takes like us people, like food that we eat, it takes like a day to go through our stomach, right? It varies, you know, depending on the person's health and what they ate and the water intake and stuff like that. But excuse me, we could just say in general about a day, right? This the shark was, we can assume it was attacked and eaten, at least partially eaten, by some bigger creature, right? And because then the tag went way, 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 way down to like depths, way like deep down in the dark depths. And it stayed at that warm temperature, meaning inside the body of whatever ate the shark, for 8 days before the tag came out, floated up back to the top. Yeah. 8 days. Can you imagine how big that shit must be to fucking, oh my gosh, for something to take 8 days to travel through your intestinal tract? I keep yawning. It's contagious, and I'm just reinfecting myself every time I yawn. But can you imagine how big that shit must be? And like, I've swam a lot in the ocean. I'm kind of a water baby, I consider myself. And I've never really been afraid of it before until, you know, recently, kind of, especially after hearing that bit of news. Like, what the fuck? How big must that thing have been? And to eat it was a great white shark. A great white shark, supposedly the apex predator of the ocean. Nope, not even close. And you know, I know that we got freaky giant squid and all kinds of stuff. I understand that we haven't even explored most of our oceans yet, but damn, that thing, whatever that big ass thing was, it came up to the surface, relatively speaking. Like, it came up to the light from the darkness. Okay, and imagine how big it was to be able to. Whew, oh my gosh. And 8 days to travel through its intestinal tract. And here's why I get so freaked out about the ocean, okay? Because, like, I've been bitten by a fish. It was a parrotfish, okay? And it's a little bit G because, like, parrotfish eat coral, okay? So, like, they're breaking down coral with their mouths. That fish bit me. It could have broken off my finger. But anyway, I'll tell the story real quick. So, I was actually with both my parents, and we were, and one of my sisters, actually. And we were, on the island of Zamami, which is like, it's one of the Ryukyu Islands. If you're in Okinawa, it's like a 30-minute boat ride. I don't know which direction, you know, but it's a little island. It's a little teeny tiny island off one of the Ryukyu Islands, you know. And my mom and I had been there before because my mom and I were the ones who lived in Okinawa. My father and one of my sisters flew in to see me graduate high school. Okay, so my mom and I had been to this island before, and this island is cool because first of all, it's Okinawa itself is like Japan's Hawaii. Okay, it's a tropical island. Okay, it's the Japanese culture has infiltrated the island, right? It's like being like the stores and everything you have access to is like you're in mainland Japan, but the Okinawan people have it's a different culture than Japanese people, right? They have their own language. They look different. All of it. It's a different people. Japan took it over, I think, during like World War II or something like that around that time. I think, but maybe before. I don't know exactly the history, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But it's like how Hawaii is a United State. The state of the United States, right? So Okinawa is like Japan's Hawaii. You have to fly 2.5 hours south from Narita to get to Okinawa. So, it's like between between Japan and the Philippines. Okinawa is, and so then Zamami is further off the coast, right? It's a really small island, and one half of the island you can go snorkel with sea turtles. There's abundant sea turtles. Like every time we've gone there, we've swam with sea turtles. Like and then the other half of the island is like coral reef, and it looks like Finding Nemo on acid. It's the most beautiful water visibility, like unreal visibility. Like the water is just, that when you think of like the Caribbean and those just aquamarine gradient blue seas, that's exactly what this island is like. And Zamami was known for dolphins, I think, like dolphin activity before the military set up all that sonar and shit around in the water. The dolphins don't like the sonar signals, whatever. It messes with their senses, so they fled that area. But it used to be a home for dolphins too. And so anyway, my mom and I like to go there to snorkel. So when my dad and my sister came, we took them there to go snorkeling with them. And we're on the half of the island where it's like the coral reef. And also what's cool about this island is there's like nobody there. Like you get like a lot of days we were there, we'd have the whole beach to ourselves. Like it's just unreal. It's just this gem of a place. I'm so blessed to have been able to visit. But so we're like on the side of that's just like the more coral reef, right? Because like the side of the island where the turtles are is like grass, just like seagrass grows, and that's why the turtles are there, because they eat the seagrass. But the other side is where the coral reef's at, and that's where like there's fish. I saw an octopus one time, like saw an octopus and I watched it disappear. What it camouflaged and like ducked down into a hole under some rocks, like, and I saw it and I was able to see it like for a split second, but it camouflaged itself and slipped under a tiny space, so if I hadn't looked, I would have missed it. But anyway, it's beautiful, beautiful tropical water, right? And so there's parrotfish there. And there's this one parrotfish that my mom joked, it was kind of like following me around, I don't know. And I think maybe sometimes like tourists feed the fish. So this is maybe like why this happened, right? But like I'm swimming, right? Sort of just like treading water, moving my hands in almost like a figure 8 in front of my face, right? Kind of just keeping myself submerged and floating in this one little spot, right? I'm making eye contact with this parrotfish, just watching it, literally looking at it, literally watching it. And it just didn't happen in the moment, like when I blinked my eyes. No, I had my eyes wide open, was watching this parrotfish, and it was watching me. It was in front of me, and I'm swimming, like, my hands are like in front of my face, kind of wailing around, whatever. The fish bit me. I was watching it. I saw it kind of like as it was coming back to its original position. And I felt the impact of its mouth, like biting my finger. I think maybe it thought I had food for it or something like that. And it didn't bite me as hard as it could, because like I said, parrotfish eat coral. Okay. So like it could have bitten my finger off if it wanted to. But, I think it realized that I wasn't holding out food or nothing like that. So it like bit me and let go. But I was watching it when it bit me, my guy. I did not see it bite me. I was watching it. That's how fast the fish moved. Like I was swimming, looking directly at it, watching it, felt the impact of the bite, saw it retreat, but never, it lunged forward and bit me so fast. I was watching it and didn't see it. I can't express, like, if you don't, it's so trippy. It happened and I screamed under the water, ah! And like paddled back to shore. My family all thinks it's so funny. You know, back then I could speak Japanese really good. And so like we were on the island, there were like these really sweet elderly ladies, and Okinawa has some of the oldest people in the world. So like this is basically so Okinawa. These women might have been like 105 years old. I don't know, but we had the iPad out, which we had a lot of pictures on, and they were like curious about the iPad. So I'm like showing them and I'm talking to them, and they speak Japanese, you know, and I did too at this time, not anymore so much, but I'm like showing them, and then there's a picture of me, like, because you could actually see, like, when it for the first couple hours after it happened, there was a mark, like where the fish latched onto me. It did leave a little mark, like, it, you know, that's how powerful the jaw is, and it just lightly, you know. So there's pictures of me like making a pouty face, frowning at the, you know, at the little tiny, barely visible mark on my hand. And they're like, you know, kind of like, what is that? You know, and I was like, oh, I was bitten by a fish. And I think my dad could see like what picture I was on, you know, and he's like, you better tell them like how much of a punk you are. Basically, I don't remember how my dad phrased it, you know, but I was like, yeah, the fish bit me, you know. And I said, okay, like it's a big fish. And my dad goes, he shook his head and went, like, to put his two fingers really close together, like indicated that it was small. The lady started bagging up laughing. They thought it was so funny. Oh my gosh. But it's like, no, dude, it really was scary, just because it wasn't like I was actually traumatized or something, but it's just the fact it happened so fast that I was watching it and couldn't see it happen. It was that fast, like faster than the speed of light. Like, how do you watch something and not see it? You know what I'm saying? And so that's like when people are like talking about fucking with sharks, fucking around with whatever the fuck. Dude, the water is not our domain. Okay? We're only the top of the food chain on the earth because we have guns and shit like that. This is our element, and we're not even the apex predators of this element. Like, what the fuck do we think we're doing in the water? All these people, oh, a shark-proof suit. Oh, no, dude. If you're in the water and some aquatic creature wants you, dude, you're theirs. Like, if that little fish is an indicator of how fast those things can move, like, dude, you all are screwed. I'm never swimming in the water again. After hearing about that big ass thing coming up in 8 days, dude. I just think about that fish and how fast it bit me. It happened before my eyes and I couldn't even witness it. And all I could do was feel it. And I just think, what if that had been a shark, dude? I'd have been toast. So that's just my little rant. We need to save the ocean, but we also need to be wary of it because we don't really know what goes on in that motherfucker. We really don't. And if somebody knows about it, they're not telling us about it because we're all ignorant in the dark. And yeah, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? Because, man, I used to really enjoy snorkeling, but I don't know anymore, guys. I don't know. After hearing about that 8-day thing anyway. So that's all I got to say.